Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Hope you guys are having a chill day today. In this update video, I'm going to show you guys some of the best places where you can earn stablecoin yield and yield on your SOL tokens within the Solana ecosystem. Moreover, I'm going to show you guys some new protocols that are launching, and given that they're new and they're going to be working to subsidize and bootstrap liquidity and their user base, if you guys get involved early enough, you guys are likely to extract massive yield for weeks. And I'll be using the latest newsletter that I published as an outline. If you guys haven't subscribed already to the free newsletter, I highly recommend that you guys do so. Every Monday, you'll get updates on centralized finance platforms like Crypto.com, BlockFi, Celsius, and others. Also on Saturdays, I'll show you guys some DeFi protocols and platforms you guys can use to extract massive yield. Lastly, on Sunday, I give you guys general crypto news, and I also cover moves that I'm making in my personal portfolio. To get access to the newsletter, all you need to do is click the Substack link in the description below and enter your email address. Before we get into the video, I'd like to quickly introduce the NFT project that I'm currently working on. It's scheduled to launch in Q1. Unlike other NFT projects that are just profile pic projects, I plan to attach a lot of utility to these NFTs. Initially, the main utility is going to be a DAO membership where you can vote on proposals, make proposals, and get access to early alpha. I've surrounded myself and my team with DeFi analysts, people who've gotten into Axie, DeFi Kingdoms, and other games very early. So by being in their proximity, you could learn through osmosis. You'll learn about the template that they use to discover these opportunities very early. But over time, you plan to make custom DeFi strategies, acquire in-game assets to earn passive income on them, and also to acquire digital real estate in the metaverse in hopes of one day extracting rent and making passive income off of the properties. And if you wanted early and guaranteed access to this highly anticipated mint, make sure you head over to the Samurai Monkey Dojo and start engaging with the community. This way you put yourself in a position to get whitelisted early. The link to the docs and the Discord can be found in the description below. With the intro out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into this video. Alright, to get things started, before I cover some of the newer protocols launching within the Solana ecosystem, let me show you some high-yielding protocols that to date have been pretty stable and haven't had any significant adverse events. The first of which is going to be Sunny Aggregator. And by the way, guys, in all my write-up, I usually link the website in the header. If you just click here, you'll be redirected to the webpage. I personally love using yield aggregators because even though you could arguably extract more yield if, let's say, you were to manually compound on a weekly basis, given that I have so much going on, it's a lot easier for me to just deposit my assets and let the protocol do all the auto compounding for me. Now, like most auto compounding protocols, they do report the yield in APY versus APR, but given that the yields are in the single digits, that's not going to make a huge difference in this case. That only makes a difference when you're, let's say, working with triple digit yield. So you might see substantial yields out there promising you 1,000, 2,000%, but if you look at what the APR is, it typically ends up being between 100 and 400%. But anyhow, coming back to the Sunny Aggregator, you can see here that they offer some very robust yields for SOL and stablecoin pairs. So what I like to do is oftentimes when I take profits, I'll take it into USDC. I'll come here to save or provide liquidity with just USDC. As you can see here, unlike other pools, I don't need an equal amount of the other pair. I can just simply deposit USDC alone. I'll take my LP back here to Sunny, make the deposit, and they'll automatically compound the yield for me. And also, if you're looking for stablecoin yield and you're looking for something that's competitive to the market rate, Sunny is a pretty good place to start off with. When it comes to curating protocols, they'll go ahead and take care of that for you. Now, that doesn't mean that you won't have any sort of adverse event or that the protocols are hack-proof. It just means that industry player has done their due diligence. So relative to other protocols, you can have a higher level of confidence that it's not going to be some rug. But as you can see here, they have some very competitive yield for SOL and stablecoin assets. So anytime you're looking to extract yield, I'd recommend beginning your search here on Sunny. For now, if you look right here, they only support Saber LPs, but I wouldn't be surprised if that changes in the future. Next up, we have Orca. They've distinguished themselves as a very user-friendly automated market maker, and they've introduced a bunch of cool tools that demonstrate that they're committed to their community-centric or user-centric approach. For instance, when you're doing a trade, after incorporating the slippage to let you know if you're getting a fair market price for the trade that you're executing. And currently they're offering double dip rewards, so you can actually earn yield in 2 different tokens. And one yield in particular that I thought was pretty appealing was this pool here, because not only are you getting 8.32% APR, but remember, MSOL is basically liquid stake SOL. So in theory, if you were just holding MSOL, the value of that MSOL should go up over time. And if half the pool consists of MSOL, presumably LPs of this pool would also benefit from that. And they also have some other miscellaneous pools that are worth checking out. But for those of you guys that are interested in earning yield on your stable coins or SOL, you can actually get better rates on other protocols. But overall, it's a great automated market maker. They have a lot of big backers, and I expect a lot of good things to come out of this protocol. So make sure you follow them on Twitter. This way you'll stay up to date with any new pool that they add. Next up, we have Mercurial Finance. This was actually one of the first protocols that I used when I first came over to Solana. And basically their focus is creating stablecoin pools with deep liquidity so people can trade between the various stablecoins with very little slippage. And essentially what they're focusing on is creating very liquid, very deep stablecoin pools. This way traders don't have to pay a huge slippage fee when they're trading between different stablecoins. And like Saber, you don't have to deposit an equal amount of all the stablecoins. You can just pick from the stablecoin that you have in your wallet and just make a deposit with one type of stablecoin. And once you make your deposit, they're offering a very generous yield paid in MER of 14.72%. Currently, I don't know of any auto compounding protocols that support Mercurial Finance. If you guys happen to know of any, please let me know in the comment section below. Next up, we have UpFi network. Now the yields come down quite a bit since I first looked at the protocol. At that time, the yield was about 40+% about a week or 2 ago. Out of all the protocols that I introduced to you guys today, this one is probably the riskiest because the stablecoin isn't 100% collateralized by USDC, and the percentage of the stablecoin that's collateralized by USDC is dynamic, so it doesn't stay the same. And if you refer to my newsletter, I wrote a short summary of how the mechanics work. So basically what happens is when the price goes above $1 and UpFi share token UPS are used to collateralize and mint UpFi, and that supply expansion should bring the price back to $1. And when the price goes below $1, anybody can purchase it off the market and redeem it for $1. So through this arbitrage opportunity, they're hoping rational market actors will help maintain the dollar parity between UpFi and USDC. So for obvious reasons, this is probably one of the more risky opportunities out there. Now, for those of you guys that were around for Iron Finance on Polygon, you guys understand firsthand how these monetary experiments can go catastrophically wrong. However, I wanted to highlight that the key difference, aside from the mechanistic nuances, is that the yield here isn't very robust. On Iron Finance, the yield was in excess of 200%. And in their model, they were using a stablecoin and their own native token to collateralize a USD peg stablecoin. And since the demand was so high to get that yield of 200%, that token that they had appreciated significantly. And since the yield was subsidized by this token, as the token price went up, so did the yield. And because everybody who got in very early was able to realize significant profits very quickly, once the demand couldn't outpace the selling of that token, we saw a huge unwind. It witnessed the equivalent of a bank run. Since this protocol's TVL is growing at a modest rate, I think they're more likely to have better outcomes than Iron Finance. Moving along, we have Atrix. Atrix allows anybody to set up an incentivized pool. So coming here, you're likely to find unique opportunities. But because they're permissionless, there's also added risk. At the moment, I don't see any pool that really stands out to me that warrants the risk, but it's something that I'm personally keeping an eye on in case something worthwhile materializes. Next, I want to introduce to you guys Crema. And even though you can't earn yield yet, these are the pools that they're likely to begin with. And if you begin early enough, you're likely to realize significant yield before the TVL blows up. And Crema is trying to become the Uniswap v3 of Solana. And their model is a little bit more nuanced. They're going to integrate Jupiter, which is a DEX aggregator. And like Uniswap, they're going to allow people to add concentrated liquidity for increased capital efficiency. So when you provide liquidity, you can select a price range. And the only time that your liquidity is used is when a trade is made between that price range. Additionally, they're innovating with LP NFTs. So basically turning your LP token into an NFT that can be staked to earn additional yield. So make sure to go ahead and give them a follow on Twitter. That way when they launch sometime here in December, or perhaps they'll push it out to January, you'll be the first in line to provide liquidity. Katana won the grand prize at Solana Ignition Hackathon, and their focus is creating structured products and automated strategies. And they're going to begin with this vault strategy that allows people to go ahead and provide liquidity for individuals that are buying call options on Sol. Now, you can lose money by depositing funds here because if, let's say, in a short period of time, Solana decides to make a huge move up, which is highly unlikely, in that scenario, anybody who provided liquidity would be subject to a loss as people who bought call options realize their profits. But structured products are used widely within legacy finance. And to date, I haven't seen anybody aside from 88MPH make a credible effort to introduce structured products to the entire DeFi ecosystem. And I think there's a strong likelihood that many of these products are going to be highly composable. So I expect to see a lot of collaboration. I expect to see a lot of people building on top of these Lego pieces. And so for that reason, I wouldn't be surprised that if you look 3 to 5 years into the future, we see structured products here in DeFi that rival what you see in legacy finance. Also, aside from just pimping these protocols out for their yield, I think it's a good idea to experiment a little bit, because oftentimes these protocols will do retroactive airdrops. For example, just for interacting with the Hedgehog protocol, I got about $20,000 worth of ribbon tokens airdropped to me about a month ago. And just a couple months before that, I got airdropped Forth tokens for interacting with Ampleforth protocol. And that typically happens months and months after I originally interact with the protocol. And I'm guessing here on Solana, we could potentially see something comparable to that. So for that reason alone, I would go ahead and experiment with these protocols with just a little bit of money, because oftentimes just trading or using a couple $100s to interact with the protocol ends up making you eligible for thousands and thousands of dollars worth of airdrops. And whether you're into Solana or DeFi in general, definitely make sure you guys check out my Discord channel after watching this video. I have a few Giga Chats in here that I've gotten early into a lot of different opportunities. And not only that, it's also a great place for you to network. In many cases, some of the best opportunities that I've come across came to me because someone reached out to me and said, hey, CryptoOneStop, you need to check out this project. And lastly, if you needed more guidance, or even if you're an experienced DeFi user and you wanted early alpha on protocols, even if you joined the lowest tier I have for $20 a month, that'll make you eligible for a free subscription to the paid version of my newsletter. You'll get access to my private Discord channel where I publish moves in real time. And right now we're even setting up a structure that allows individuals to make early stage investments into projects. I mean, a lot of the people in crypto that you heard about getting super rich, I'm talking about hitting excess of 8 figures, most of them don't do it by trading. They're able to get access to these early stage opportunities and make 10, 20, 100x on their original investments in a very short period of time, and they just keep rolling those profits into even more early stage investments. And if you're looking for a little bit more, for example, you wanted one-on-one dialogue with me, you can sign up for the $50 tier or higher. And this is ideal for people that needed more guidance, or people that are new to the space and that wanted to expedite their learning. You can pick my brain about DeFi, metaverse, NFTs, or we can even talk about the macro side, and I can tell you my insights into where I think the market's heading in the next few months. And so if you think any of these services would benefit you, make sure you guys go ahead and click the Patreon link in the description below. And with that, I'd like to end the video here. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. This is CryptoOneStop signing out. I'll talk to you folks next time. Bye.